Koka Prison stood like a monument to fear on the outskirts of the capital, a towering brutalist fortress of concrete and rusted barbed wire. Its walls weren't just gray, they were the color of forgotten stories, of screams lost in the cold echo of silence. To the public, it was just another correctional facility. But to those who knew better, to those who had seen its insides, it was hell in stone. It was early on a Sunday morning when the main gates of Koka creaked open, disturbing the stagnant air of routine cruelty. Through them shuffled a man with slouched shoulders and wary eyes. He looked like just another petty criminal, wearing threadbare clothes that clung to his thin frame. His beard was untrimmed, hair disheveled, and his boots, if one could call them that, had holes wide enough to sip water from the cracked concrete. The paperwork read Musa Dao, age 38, arrested for attempting to rob a small grocery store with no weapon. Just bad luck. But in truth, this man wasn't Musa. He was Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the leader of Burkina Faso, undercover, in disguise, and on a mission that could either change the country forever or end him. As he entered, a gruff voice shattered his thoughts. "Move it! No daydreaming!" barked a guard, not even looking up from his clipboard. Ibrahim kept his eyes down. He'd rehearsed this moment 100 times, but nothing could prepare him for the reality. The smell of blood and bleach, the distant sound of someone groaning in pain, and the looks. The eyes of prisoners who had already given up on being seen as human. Why would a national leader walk willingly into this place? For months, Ibrahim had received glowing reports about Koka Prison. Efficient, orderly, secure. But there were also anonymous letters. Letters that told stories of inmates being tortured, starved, or simply disappearing. The reports and the letters couldn't both be true. There was only one way to find out. Now, deep inside Koka, he wore a prison number stitched on his chest. His new identity would live in cell block C7, known to be the most dangerous section, nicknamed the Pit. Day 1. Entering the pit. The cell was a cage with crumbling walls, graffiti of sorrow etched by broken souls. The bunk bed was metal and rusted. The mattress felt like soggy cardboard, and the blanket couldn't even block out a thought, let alone the cold. A massive inmate across the room studied him. "New meat." The man grunted. "What you in for?" "Attempted robbery." Ibrahim replied, voice low but even. "Didn't have a weapon. Didn't go well." The man raised an eyebrow, then chuckled. "No weapon? Damn, you've either got guts or you're stupid." He leaned forward, his muscles stretching beneath a scarred shirt. "Name's Bari. Been here 15 years. Murder, theft, mostly just surviving." Ibrahim nodded. "So, what's this place really like?" Bari's face hardened. "Like? There's no like in here. There's just waiting. Waiting for the guards to beat you. Waiting for the food to rot your stomach. Waiting to die." That night, Ibrahim barely slept. The air smelled of urine and mold. But even worse was the sound. A faint, desperate moan coming from a dark corner of the block. He leaned out of bed and saw a skeletal young man shaking uncontrollably, soaked in sweat. "What's wrong with him?" Ibrahim whispered to an older inmate. "That's Gaspar," the man replied with a sigh. "Guards cracked his ribs 2 weeks ago. Didn't give him no help. Got infected. Now he's just fading." "Is there no doctor?" The old man scoffed. "You think we get doctors in here? If you're sick, you get better, or you die." Day 2. The death nobody notices. Gaspar died before sunrise. The guards came in like it was a chore. No words of sympathy, no concern. "Another one gone," said the head guard, a thick-necked brute named Bolo. His voice carried the same weight as someone discussing the weather. Two guards dragged Gaspar's limp body out like garbage. No ceremony, no dignity. Bari didn't even flinch. "Happens all the time," he muttered. "This place eats people." Later that day, Ibrahim was assigned to kitchen duty. The kitchen looked like a crime scene. Mice skittered across moldy tiles, and the smell of rot clung to everything. He was handed a knife and a pile of nearly liquefied vegetables. "This isn't food," Ibrahim whispered to the old cook beside him. The man chuckled bitterly. "That ain't for us, that's for them," he said, nodding toward a separate pot filled with fresh meat and herbs. "We get the slop. Guards get the feast." The contrast was staggering. On paper, this prison was funded well. Food, medicine, sanitation, all covered. But here, money was a ghost that never reached its destination. Day 3, the room that breaks men. That night, back in cell C7, Bari motioned Ibrahim close. "There's a room," he whispered, "down the hall behind a red door. They take prisoners there sometimes. Not all come back. And the ones who do, they're different." "Torture?" Bari nodded. "Electric shocks, waterboarding, other stuff. They want bribes. If your family can't pay, you pay with your flesh." "How long has this been happening?" "Since the new warden came," Bari said. "Warden Traore. He's the devil in a uniform." The next day, another prisoner was dragged out of that room, dead. 2 in 3 days. Ibrahim's fury bubbled, but he had to play the part, until they came for him. Day 4, face to face with evil. 2 guards grabbed him after roll call. "Warden wants to see you, new guy. Hope you got money." They dragged him into the infamous room. It was worse than he imagined. Metal hooks on the walls, bloodstains on the floor, tools on a tray, each designed to erase dignity. Warden Traore entered with the confidence of a man who thought he owned the world. "Musa Dao," he said, flipping through a fake file. "Or whatever your name really is, you ask a lot of questions." "I'm just a prisoner," Ibrahim said calmly. Traore smirked. "Number, you're a problem, unless you have cash." "How much?" 500,000 francs CFA? A year's salary for most people. Ibrahim didn't flinch. "And if I can't pay?" Traore pointed to the tools. "Then the fun begins." Ibrahim took a deep breath. "Before we begin, I think I have something that might interest you." Traore laughed. "Oh? What are you, some secret prince?" Ibrahim reached into a seam in his pants, pulled out a small transmitter, pressed a button. "What's that?" Traore barked. "Hey, guards!" But it was too late. The door slammed open, not with guards, but with elite black-clad special forces armed to the teeth. "What is this? Who are you people?" Traore shouted. Ibrahim stood tall. "My name," he said slowly, "is Captain Ibrahim Traoré. I am the leader of this nation, and you are under arrest." Traore staggered backward, mouth agape. You're lying!" But Ibrahim's voice rose like a thunderclap. "I came to see the truth with my own eyes. I have seen it, and now it ends." The soldiers moved in. Traore didn't fight. He couldn't. He was already defeated. Outside, the rumble of helicopters shook the prison walls. Soldiers surrounded the facility. Chaos spread. Guards surrendered or fled. Some begged for mercy. Others locked themselves in cells out of fear. Ibrahim walked back into cell block C7 like a storm with purpose. Prisoners stared, jaws dropping. You're him?" Bari whispered. Yes, Ibrahim said, and I remember everything you told me. The rebirth of a nation. That Saturday morning, every prisoner and guard stood in the yard. Ibrahim stood on the steps, a microphone in hand. Today, he said, Burkina Faso makes a choice. We either turn away from suffering or we confront it and change. He turned to the men and women before him. Koka Prison is closed. These walls of silence and shame will fall. We will build something new, a place for healing, not punishment. The crowd murmured in disbelief. The guards responsible will face trial, real justice, not the mockery you lived with. He turned to the prisoners. You will all be treated like humans again. Health checks, real food, every case reviewed. Bari couldn't hold back his tears. Is this real? He whispered. Ibrahim nodded. It's real, because hiding from the truth ends today. Months later, the prison was gone. In its place stood the Koka Center for Renewal, a facility with libraries, classrooms, medical clinics, and vocational programs. The room once used for torture, now a community library. The kitchen served real meals. Bari now worked as a counselor at the center. He no longer ruled through fear, but guided with compassion. One morning, he stood by the gate with other staff members. President Traore is visiting today, he said, a smile stretching his face. When Ibrahim arrived, he wasn't wearing medals or a suit, just a simple shirt, sleeves rolled, walking among the people like he always had. The inmates, now students, mechanics, artists, stood to welcome him. Welcome back, Mr. President, Bari said, voice shaking. Ibrahim smiled, placing a hand on his shoulder. No, Bari, welcome back to hope. In a world where leaders often rule from behind guarded walls and polished desks, Ibrahim Traoré did the unthinkable. He chose not to believe second-hand reports. He chose not to send a committee or issue vague orders. Instead, he stepped into the darkness himself. Disguised as a broken man with nothing, he exposed the broken system with everything he had: courage, conviction, and the truth. Koka Prison was once a fortress of fear, a place of torment, hunger, and silence. But today, because one man dared to see it with his own eyes, it has become a symbol of hope. The cries that once echoed through the halls of pain have been replaced with laughter, learning, and healing. This story reminds us that real change doesn't always begin with policies. It begins with people. People who refuse to look away. People who believe that justice is not just an ideal for the privileged, but a right for everyone, even the forgotten. From Musa to Ibrahim, from prisoner to president, the transformation wasn't just symbolic. It was revolutionary. It shattered the walls of corruption and lit the path toward a more humane future for Burkina Faso. So, if you were moved by this story, if it lit a spark of hope in you or reminded you of the power one person holds to change everything, then don't let it end here. Subscribe to our channel. Because here we don't just tell stories. We uncover the truth, we highlight the unheard, and we celebrate the courage that challenges the system. Hit that subscribe button like this video and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another story that matters. And remember, somewhere, someone is waiting for justice, for hope, for change. Let's be the voice that echoes through every wall of silence. Let's spread the truth. Let's inspire action. This is not the end. It's only the beginning. Thank you for watching.